So, fellow paint huffers, Wyatt Derp, the Not So Herb, and today we'll be taking a look at something a little bit different, but still directly related to spray paint. So, I see a lot of newer guys coming into the spray paint groups, and some of them have little to no spray painting experience in general, much less when it comes to spray painting guns. So, there's a lot of information out there, not just from myself, but a plethora of other people, of, before and the actual paint job itself, solid colors, patterns, and so on and so forth. There's a lot of information on how to do all that, but there's not a whole lot about what's going to happen afterwards. Now, a lot of us who have been doing this for a while, we know exactly what's going to happen. Depending on the gun, we know what we're going to expect out of it, right? But for these newer people, this is for you. I'm gonna go over and explain, what's gonna happen and why it's gonna happen. So we're gonna break it down into two videos. The first one's gonna be handguns, which is gonna be this video, and the second one is gonna be long guns, rifles, shotguns, so on and so forth. So typically, I don't spray paint my own handguns. I've actually spray painted more handguns for other people than I have myself. I've done a few in the past, and this one right here, but for the most part I don't do it, and I'm going to go into that towards the end of the video. But when we go ahead and look at a handgun, a few things are going to play into it. The paint that you use, any kind of prep work, the material being sprayed, because not all polymers are created equal. I like to use the Magpul versus Lancer argument. I can take P-Mags and spray paint them all day and have little to absolutely no problems with them. That's solid colors to doing a lot of patterns with a lot of stencils on there, and little to no problems. Lancer mags, consistent headache. There's something with the polymer. It's probably one of those polymers that you have to scuff up before you paint and probably prime, but I don't go through all that. But for me, Lancer mags, if I start spraying on them, especially if I'm doing stencil work, pulling off a stencil, I can pull down to the bare polymer. But so far, I haven't really found a handgun polymer that doesn't take well to paint. They all handle paint about the same, in my opinion. But I got an FN 509T a couple months ago. Anybody that knows the FN 509T knows it is FDE. Anybody that knows me knows I hate FDE, and I am OD Green Gang until I die, baby. And yeah, so I got so tired of looking at the FDE that I turned it OD Green. Now, that paint job, wouldn't say it looks bad, right? This paint job is sub 800 rounds in. So they're seeing one range trip that I know that range trip was about 100 rounds. The second range trip was to zero the optic the day before a 2-day pistol class. Did a 2-day pistol class, and for the last week and a half, 10-15 minutes of dry firing every day before going to bed. But this is just one side of it. You can also see I have the grip taped up. And before anybody starts bitching, yes, it is empty. But that's just one side of it. If we go ahead and turn it around, that's where the story tends to change a little bit there, partner. We'll go ahead and look. We're starting to see a lot of wear. So this is mainly what you're going to expect from a handgun. An extreme amount of wear and an extremely short amount of time. Now, I do have, it doesn't look all that bad because I have this tape on there. Now, if I didn't have this tape on there, that'd be a completely different story. A lot of this green will be gone in the grip area. Now, if you think about a handgun and how we use a handgun, so you go ahead and look. That's a lot. The hand hence the name handgun, takes up majority of the gun. So your hand's going to take up a lot of the slide, and it also depends on hand size, gun size, so on and so forth. But for the most part, your hands are going to take up majority of the frame. That's where almost all of your wear is going to come from when it comes to the frame. You know, your hands, you can see how a lot of this is worn out. That's from going and grabbing into the holster, you know, coming in, establishing the grip together. A lot here is from dropping the mag. A lot there is from coming down, sliding that thumb down to send that slide home. So, and then also if you run an outside the waistband holster for whatever reason, outside the waistband, your grip's gonna be hanging out. It comes into contact with anything, that's gonna wear it out. Slide. I do have a lot of slide wear on here because when I shoot, you can see this front thumb, this thumb right here. I run my thumb on the slide. My thumb sits on the slide. As it's running back and forth, my slide is sitting on there. So before anybody tries bringing up that bullshit of you putting your thumb on your slide will cause your gun to fucking magically stop working, this slide is coming back a lot stronger than you're gonna be. Now, if I sit here and really try, yeah, I might be able to make that slide slow down, have a failure to eject, something like that. But just resting your thumb on here, that fucking slide's not gonna stop. But anyways, we'll get out of that. That's where a lot of my wear comes in. But if you don't have a light bearing holster, the holster will typically index, and a lot of your attention will come from it grabbing onto the slide. So as you come in and out that slide, you'll be wearing out your paint job from the holster. Now, mine would have a lot more if I didn't have the mod light on it, but I do have some because I run a tier 1 MSP holster. This is the one that I ran 2 days in a class. I was the only one running from concealment. So if you're gonna go take a 2-day pistol class and you don't primarily use an outside the waistband, use your fucking concealed carry holster. Practice with the shit you carry. Come on, man. But that's a story for another day anyway. But so when we take a look at this, this has a lot of flex in it compared to a lot of other holsters, especially ones that are made specifically for a certain type of gun. Well, the reason that this has a little bit more flex and give and play in it is because this is a universal holster. This is the same concept as a filter floodlight, if you know what that is, and which it primarily indexes off of the light so that it can fit almost any handgun that fits this light. Now, you'll have some exceptions like HK pistols that take the that you have to have the rail adapters to run light on. Those won't fit in here. But if we go ahead and take a look with that flex in there, when this is in my belt line, when this is in my waist, this tightens down. So my body here pushing up against the sweat guard, and belt here pushing it in as it comes out, that does tighten up that holster up against my slide. So I am getting some wear from there also. Press check, grabbing onto the slide serration, that's wears them out too. But yeah, so that's the thing to expect from a handgun. You're gonna have an extreme amount of wear in an extremely short amount of time. And like I said, if I wouldn't have that tape on there, it'd be a lot more drastic, and it'd show what I'm talking about a little bit more. Should have not had the tape on there, but it gives me a little bit more grip because I'm not all that impressed with the factory texture of the grip of the 509T, but that's neither here nor there for this video. I'm trying to make this as short as possible because I've tried making this video a few times and it's gotten to a 15-minute mark, and that's a little bit ridiculous. We're already sitting at 9:39. So anyways, the reason why I don't like doing it is typically a little bit more work. It's not a whole lot of more work, but it's a little bit more tedious, taping around the sights, slide releases, mag releases, trigger, ejector, backplate, takedown lever, barrels, if you're gonna keep it complete, stuff like that. It's a little bit more work, and like I said, this is sub 800 rounds. Well, I had 2 real good range days on it, and that's from the pistol class. And I also have I'm also attempting to start shooting competitions now, and I'll have my first competition in 2 days, hopefully, if things go right. And it's just, I could probably update it in a month or so if y'all want, and it's just gonna be, it's gonna get to the point to where one side of the gun's gonna be more FDE than it is OD green. But so anyways, that is what you're gonna expect out of it. That's what to expect. Like I said, paint, prep work, that kind of use, how much you use it, that's gonna have a little bit of play into it on how long it's gonna last. But for the most part, a handgun is it's just the way it is. It's coming into contact. Yeah, hands are coming into contact with a large amount of the gun, so it's just gonna show a large amount of wear in a short time span. So that's about all I can say about that. So I'm gonna go ahead, and I'm not too sure. I'm hoping for a couple days after this one that I'll drop the long gun video. But in the long gun video, I'm gonna go ahead and show examples of spray paint wear versus Cerakote wear, if Cerakote even wears at all. Foreshadowing, maybe. But yeah, so I appreciate it, guys. If you're on Facebook, go check out That's Cool and I'll spray paint it. Also, Rattle Can That Shit 2.0. Just got into that one not too long ago. And just, if you want to spray paint, you know where to come. Well, appreciate it, guys. See you on the next one.